Few celebrity marriages have generated as much discussion as the one between rapper Jeezy and television host Jeannie Mai. Their whirlwind romance, well-publicized wedding, and subsequent difficulties made headlines throughout the media. But following months of rumors and whispers of discord, fans and followers are in a state of shock as Jeezy finally revealed his divorce from Jeannie Mai. It all began like a contemporary fairy tale. Rap mogul Jeezy is well known for being strong, and streetwise fell in love with Jeannie Mai, the lively and outspoken co-host of The Real. Their relationship took everyone by surprise when they went public in 2019. At first glance, they didn't seem to be a good fit. She was a fashion-forward, bubbly talk show host, and he was a chart-topping hip-hop artist. But they managed to complement each other in every way, from their differences to their common interests and goals. Their love story only seemed to grow stronger over time, reaching 2020. The couple announced their engagement amid a pandemic and global unpredictability. And in March 2021, Jeezy and G married in a beautiful, intimate ceremony at their Atlanta home. The world was captivated by their union, viewing them as one of Hollywood's it couples. Pictures of their gorgeous wedding and tributes to their undeniable chemistry were all over social media. But behind the scenes, cracks in the foundation of their marriage had been developing for a while before the public learned of any problems. According to people close to the couple, their relationship had been rocky for a while, even though their social media posts gave fans the impression that their love was genuine. However, their growing differences also started to cause friction behind closed doors. Cultural differences were one of the couple's main problems. On the other side, Jeezy, whose real name is Jenkins, was born on the gritty streets of Atlanta and developed his profession via tenacity and determination. A Vietnamese person of Vietnamese descent, was raised in a culturally diverse but rich environment. Although they celebrated one another's heritage, these cultural differences started to show up in unexpected ways, resulting in miscommunications and arguments that only got worse over time. Family values and expectations also played a significant role in their difficulties. Prior to falling in love with Jeezy, Jeannie had been outspoken about her wish to concentrate on her work and her initial lack of interest in being a mother. Eventually, they had a change of heart and welcomed their daughter Monaco in January 2022. As happy as this moment was, the demands of parenthood further strained their already fragile marriage. With a couple as well known as Jeezy and Jeannie Mai living under the spotlight of fame, the pressure of public life can be unbearable. From the moment they made their relationship public, they were the focus of constant media attention. Every move they made, every event they attended, and every fans and critics alike analyzed and evaluated the Instagram picture they made. For Jeezy, who had established his career by maintaining a relatively private personal life, this degree of visibility was overwhelming. Although Jeezy was never at ease with the spotlight, G, who had spent years as a TV personality and was used to live in the spotlight, welcomed it, and their divergent approaches to fame widened the gap between them. As early as 2022, there were reports of turmoil in paradise. They once happy public appearances became more frequent, and astute fans noticed subtle changes in their social media interactions. Their once loving captions on their Instagram feeds changed to cryptic messages that hinted at deeper issues, and the public was still unable to fully identify what was wrong with the silent struggles. For the longest time, despite fans' demands for an answer, Jeezy, who has always maintained his composure, kept quiet about his marital issues, avoided answering any direct questions about his personal life, in favor of concentrating on his music and business endeavors. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. The couple's close-knit relationship had reached a breaking point, according to friends, long before the divorce papers were filed. They were living together but leading different lives in many ways, due to work obligations and personal goals that complicated their marriage. Parenthood can either bring couples closer or farther apart. The stresses of juggling their jobs, personal lives, and their new roles as parents became too much for Jeezy and G to handle. So they decided to become closer or uncover the deep fissures in their relationship. They both loved their daughter. The shocking announcement that Jeezy had filed for divorce from Jeannie Mai in September 2023, alleging irreconcilable differences, struck shockwaves through the entertainment business, leaving both fans and the media in shock. Declaration. Insiders said that Jeezy had been considering the move for some time, but wanted to make sure it was the right decision for him and his family. The tipping point, according to insiders, came after a series of disagreements that escalated beyond repair. The couple had just months earlier appeared on talk shows, talking positively about their life together. making the split all the more shocking as details of the divorce emerged. Disagreements are kept confidential. The relationship had obviously reached an irreversible stage. Jeezy finally decides to break his silence in a heartfelt and candid interview in late 2023, which left fans with more clarity and even more questions. For weeks following the divorce filing, Jeezy and G stayed relatively quiet, choosing not to directly address the media frenzy. In a rare sit-down interview with The Breakfast Club, Jeezy talked candidly about the emotional toll the divorce had done on him. He admitted the "I will always love her and be family because of Monaco," even if he acknowledged that the strains of parenthood, their disparate lifestyles, and their cultural backgrounds had finally been too much for them to handle. Jeezy talked openly about how fame had impacted their relationship and said that sometimes love isn't enough to keep it going. "We were just in different places, wanting different things, and it became obvious that we were holding each other back in certain ways." Perhaps the most shocking revelation came when Jeezy acknowledged that he had been the one to push for the divorce, despite still having a deep affection for Jeannie. It wasn't an easy decision, and it was a hint that the constant public scrutiny had made their problems worse. When you're in the spotlight, it's like your relationship is under a microscope. Every argument, every misunderstanding, everything gets magnified. It got to the point where we couldn't just focus on ourselves, we were constantly dealing with outside noise. Took a while to reach that point, but ultimately, I had to act in my daughter's and my best interests. Letting go is sometimes the finest thing you can do for the people you care about. Jeannie's reaction when Jay-Z was the first to discuss the divorce in public. Shortly after his interview, Jeannie Mai made her first appearance on The Real, for the first time since the news broke, giving her side of the tale in a tearful and emotional piece. She talked about the grief of the divorce, but also conveyed a sense of comprehension and approval. "While I respect Jeezy's decision, and know that he's doing what he feels is right for him and for our daughter," G also acknowledged the part that their disparate backgrounds and lifestyles had played in the breakdown of their marriage. "We come from two very different worlds, and even though we did our best to bridge that gap, sometimes love just isn't enough. This was not what I expected for my life when she started." In spite of the heartbreak, Gia stressed that she and Jeezy were dedicated to co-parenting their daughter and keeping their relationship positive for her benefit. "After all, we're still family, and we're going to raise Monaco together with love and respect." What comes next for Jeezy and G? Fans are left wondering what the future holds for both Jeezy and G as the dust settles on their divorce. For Jeezy, the emphasis appears to be on he has already alluded to upcoming initiatives involving music and his daughter, and he is committed to continuing to advance both personally and professionally. In the meantime, G has recommitted herself to her career, sharing her path of self-discovery and healing via her real-life platform. She is optimistic about the future, despite being candid about the difficulties of beginning over.